I think GE is leading the digital transformation in the industry for three reasons. The first is that as you begin to transform an industry, you have to have domain knowledge. And the domain knowledge actually just doesn't focus on the data. It focuses on what is important from a business perspective. So having that knowledge, it says this is the right business perspective we have, these are the things we're trying to do, and here's the right data that solves that problem, here's the right perspective that solves that problem, I think is a key thing. So one, I think that domain knowledge is key. Second, I think what we've done is we've actually have a framework by which we actually go about doing this. We understood that you'd have to gather the right data, so we've invested in things like predicts. You'd have to analyze the data, so we've invested in the analytics skills that we need together with the physical skills. And we've applied it across multiple industries, which shows that we have a willingness to understand what we need to do quickly. The third point is that we have the will to drive the cultural change that's needed in GE. We understand it's a physical plus digital experience, so we're aligning the physical and digital. We are doing things like creating IT that spans across the entire company. We are aligning the efforts that's needed from an HR perspective, from a fast works perspective, from a full process perspective. I think that itself can't be underestimated. So those are the three reasons why I believe that we will be the leaders. The domain knowledge and the strength of what we have, the notion that we are building a framework with a platform to get this done, and the cultural transformation that we are doing and have decided to focus on. I think the region has a huge amount of value to provide. I look at the work that we're doing in the GRC in Rio, and I think it's excellent. So the two aspects of it that I think are most important. What the region does is that the region allows us to focus those digital skills in a way that matters. One good example I'll give you. If I look at transportation, we created an asset called Trip Optimizer that was being used globally. But now that we're working with one of the lead mining companies, Vale, we realize that the trains that they are using are loaded much more heavily. So we had to actually adapt that algorithm for use for trains with much heavier loads. That and some of the insights that we're getting, we're taking from Brazil and pushing to all parts of the world. So I think the combination of the GRC in Brazil, working with some of the local GE businesses on problems that just are not local here, but are global in nature, but you can have the quick local experience, are huge factors for us. What we have here is also a new type of understanding and insight. Some of the problems that we see here are germane to growing environments in which you may have less resources or there may be certain other restrictions. We're finding that some of these problems show up here very quickly, and some of those problems can be learned from here and adapted and delivered in other parts of the world.